Iran death toll rises to 1,332. U.S. attack on Iran to increase dramatically, News6th. Iranian officials hold talks on potential new leadership. Iran targets Israeli embassy in Bahrain. Saudi Arabia intercepts missile. The death toll in Iran from ongoing U.S. and Israeli attacks has risen to 1,332 people, according to the Iranian Red Crescent, as the conflict entered its seventh day. Residents and local media reported large explosions overnight in several parts of Tehran, including residential areas and locations near Tehran University. The conflict has also spread beyond Iran's borders. Israeli airstrikes were reported in southern and eastern Lebanon, including the town of Doris in the Bekaa Valley, as well as in the southern suburbs of Beirut. Meanwhile, the United States and Israel say their military campaign, called Operation Epic Fury, is significantly weakening Iran's military capabilities. According to estimates by the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the first 100 hours of the operation cost about $3.7 billion, averaging nearly $891 million per day. The Israeli military says it has carried out around 500 strikes since the conflict began and claims it has achieved near-complete air superiority, adding that roughly 80% of Iran's air defense systems have been destroyed. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says American attacks on Iran will intensify in the coming days. Speaking at a briefing alongside Admiral Brad Cooper of U.S. Central Command and President Donald Trump, Hegseth said the amount of munitions being used in strikes on Iran, including Tehran, will increase significantly. He added that the United Kingdom's decision to allow the United States to use the Diego Garcia military base will help Washington expand its operations. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced the UK will deploy 4 additional Typhoon fighter jets to reinforce its squadron based in Qatar. Starmer said Britain has permitted the United States to use its bases in the region to conduct what he described as defensive operations. Iranian state television says a leadership council has begun discussions on convening the Assembly of Experts to choose the country's next supreme leader. The council includes President Masoud Pezeshkian, Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein Mohseni Ajahi, and cleric Ayatollah Ali Reza Arafi. Officials have not yet announced when the 88-member Assembly of Experts will meet, or whether the session will be held in person or remotely. Several buildings linked to the assembly have reportedly been damaged during the ongoing U.S.-Israeli airstrike campaign. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes continued to hit Tehran and parts of Lebanon early Friday, as the United States reportedly targeted an Iranian drone carrier at sea in its campaign against Iran's naval forces. Iran has also launched new retaliatory attacks across the Middle East after a week of intense bombardment. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned that American military operations against Iran are about to increase significantly. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency reports that overnight attacks in Manama, Bahrain, targeted the Financial Harbor Towers, a commercial complex where the Israeli embassy is located. According to reports, an Iranian drone was intercepted and destroyed near the complex. The developments come as the conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran continues to widen across the region. Several Gulf countries have also reported attacks. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said it intercepted and destroyed a cruise missile east of the Al-Kharj governorate. Meanwhile, Qatar's defense ministry said its air defense systems shot down a drone targeting the Al Udeid air base in Doha, which hosts U.S. military assets. Authorities had earlier warned residents to remain indoors as explosions were heard in the city. The expanding conflict has drawn in multiple countries across the Middle East, as well as Turkey and Azerbaijan. Meanwhile, European Union leaders have expressed support for Gulf nations, condemning what they described as Iran's attacks on countries in the Gulf Cooperation Council during talks with regional officials in Brussels.